All right, I think we're doing it. OLAV, we're
All
live.
right, we're live.
I think
Amazing.
so.
My second appearance as a sidekick. Wow.
Yes, yes. You got voted back in. Like it was a touch and go call for a while, but it
Yeah,
was
I saw
either
that. I saw Brage was pretty negative, but
Braga wasn't here, so it was like, is me not being there and no one replaced me better than OLAV coming in? But no, it was good. He did
yeah.
give a instruction though to like
Good morning,
no
Sarah.
no cracking beers during this during this live stream.
Okay. I actually cracked my sparkling water before
Yes,
we
yes,
started the live this time. Yes.
yes, sparkling water. Hey Ed, hey Sarah in the chat. Yes, welcome everyone. Hope you're doing well. All over the world, I would say good evening, but it's probably good morning for some. Feel free to add your comments throughout the chat. We are going to be answering them, as well as giving you a bit of an overview of the things that we're working on, what's to come, what we're kind of planning, as well as and what else are we doing at OLAV? Just a kind of a state of the union.
State of the Union, I think that's a great way to put it. I think it's just before summer holidays here in Norway. We actually have sun in my hometown today, so that's the second time this year. So yeah, it's just I think it's just talking about what we've done the last 8 weeks and
Yeah.
what's to come through the summer and after summer. So I think that's the main thing. The team is on super high velocity. I hope that that shows. But we're also doing a lot of stuff on the back end, right? Or would you say the backstage or whatever? That's not
Backstage,
gonna
yes.
come to fruition until like probably August or September. But yeah.
Yeah. There's the pipeline. Things are kind of progressing through and on their way, but you'll obviously have more to say about that. But we've got a few people joining us today, along with some of the updates from you. So we've got Askai coming in to give us an overview of a few ideas that he's been working on. Then we've got Stian coming in. I think he's in Greece at the moment. So I'm not sure what language he's going to be talking to us.
One of the, I don't know, 40 languages that guy speaks. Yeah.
And then Hilda's going to come in as well and talk about some of the cool stuff that she's been working on with Alex. And then we'll finish off with a bit of an overview of the plan from here. So let's perhaps start with a recap, OLAV, and some of the stuff that we've actually recently released, just to give an overview of all the things that have been happening. So yeah, let's start with the feature released. Probably the first one, meeting note taker.
Yes. Probably, or not probably, it is one of our most used features. And I would say my most used feature. I'm super happy with the outcome. What I think is good is what we felt with the agent was when you had a meeting, say you had a one-on-one, and I had my agent there and you had your agent there, and suddenly we were 4 people in the meeting. It felt like it was quite a big distraction. And what we've done in our last 2 focus periods are like taking into account both the things that's been on ideas.tana.inc and also the feedback from the community on the stuff we have and the stuff that people use a lot and how to improve on those workflows. And the meeting note takers is one of them. And the system audio capture, I think that's the most important thing, because there's almost like if you're a great builder in Tana now, there's almost no limits to what to build, especially when you have the system audio capture. Like I talked to a user who uses it to capture every TED talk that he listens to. Like he just transcribes every TED talk. He builds an agent that actually create questions from the TED talk. And there's so many things that you can do. So one thing is just one of the workflows that's enabled with the system audio capture is basically the meeting bot, or not bot, sorry, the meeting note taker. But there's a bunch of other things that you can do as well, which is connected to basically audio. And meetings are the most dense information space in a company, right? So that's why it's so important for us, because remember, since we started from the first day, we said we're going to reinvent how humans, teams, and computers work together. And meeting is an important part of that. So I think the things that the team did was super good, and it's just the start of the new meeting note taker. They had a bunch of ideas that's gonna come to fruition that I'm not gonna answer or tell anyone about here, but some of them will help me a lot. Like when people say like, Ula, what do you think? And you've been thinking about that for the past couple minutes. It's like, yes, yes. So yeah, there's that.
I wasn't really paying attention to what you said over the last few minutes, so I could use that myself. No, I'm joking. I agree. I think the thing I like about it is, yes, the number one request. The team have obviously got a same amount of cool ideas of things we could do with the meeting agent, but the number one request we got in the community was like get rid of the bot. So I really love that we focused on that and made that a priority, and it feels a lot simpler and more effective in terms of that quick capture. Just get in there and get things done.
It was strange when we had our team meetings and we were like 8 people in the meeting, but there were 8 bots. So it was like felt like we were 16 people. It's not a good user experience basically. So we had to help them with that. Yeah.
Great. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Another big release was tabs and panel improvement. Do you want to give us an overview of that?
Yeah, I do think Tana should feel like a browser for your mind. Like you have all of your data there, or you should have access to all of your data when we are where we want to be. But one of the things that is super important is like how can you stay in Tana and have different contexts? And I think that tabs are super important to be able to like work structurally or have a structured way of working with your data. So the work that the team did there was just super good. There's one thing, and that is that I struggled with for such a long time, and that was like command click and shift click.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah. So we're breaking conventions in a lot of places with our shortcuts because we want Tana to work in the browser as well as on the desktop, right? So there's some of the shortcuts that's taken by like Chrome or Firefox or whatever. But I do think that we really need to get to a place where we don't break conventions that we don't need to, and basically in the desktop we are much freer to actually use the conventional shortcuts. So getting command click to open a tab and shift click to open in a panel, now I got it in my fingers, but it's kind of like it took some time. Like it just shows that change management is super hard, right?
Yeah, I was of that opinion too. It was a little bit disorientating to begin with, but now it's second nature. So it didn't take too long, probably 6 weeks. I spent 6 hours a day training myself.
We launched it like 5 weeks ago, so good on you. Yeah.
But no, it's actually second nature now, and I kind of like it. It feels like it's consistent with other behavior, so that's really nice.
It's fast. That's the thing, right? It's fast because it's muscle memory from the browser. So I think it's super good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Let's keep going. Export as Markdown. That was another one that was recently released.
Yes. That's one of the most asked features in the community. So we just figured like, actually, we just need to prioritize it. Like, it's not what's gonna give us the highest velocity, but it's kind of like a value-based thing, right? Do we want to be a platform that locks in the users, or do we want the users to be free to use whatever? And for Tana, it's 100% the latter. So I do think this was all about priority, and now the time was right. Of course, everything you do can be much better. Export as Markdown is the first thing we're doing. We're not going to lock your inner thoughts and notes in. So that's the first step. And now I think it's also up to other platforms to look into Tana import, right? So we can only do our stuff. Now it's more the pressure on the other platforms.
Okay, another one was like an optimization, I guess, was a reset workspace that went out too.
Oh yeah, that's a small but important one. Like we've had so many users, you know this better than anyone leading the CS team. We had so many users like, hey, I haven't tried Tana in 6 months because it was too hard. Like now you have all of these, you have the template store. Did we not? Yeah, we need to include that, like the template store.
That's true.
You've launched all of these things. I really want to try again, but I had such a messy workspace from my first run. Can you please reset it? Now you'll be able to reset your workspace yourself, and I think that's super important to start with a clean slate.
Yeah, I think we ended last office hours with Theo talking about template sort, which was just released. So we're kind of a month or so in, which is good. And feedback has been excellent so far, and that'll obviously
and that as well. It's only going to get better, right?
Yeah.
And a shout out to Udin from the chat. He just said that now it should work better on Windows. Like Udin was heading up everything export. So please give him a round of applause. He really deserves that.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, let's keep moving. So that was the things that we've just been released. Let's talk about some of the stuff that we've publicly acknowledged or want to publicly acknowledge that we are working on or will be shipping soon. So firstly, and probably the main one, is offline mode. I ruined Aric's demo last office. But well, give us an update on that.
Yeah, so before summer, it's going to be rolled out internally for testing. Offline mode might seem super simple, but it's super hard, of course, because it's data, it's shared workspaces, it's what do you do with simultaneous editing, there's so many things that we need to fix and do right. And also, like, it's a place where if you don't do it right, there's a super high chance for data loss, right? You're writing offline and it needs to sync in the right way when you do that. So I know people may think that it's an easy one. It's not at all. And Eirik and the team is doing an amazing job on this. Step 2 is going to be getting it to select test pilots. Hopefully that's going to happen like before summer as well. Which means Eirik, I guess, isn't taking his summer vacation. No. Everything is before summer, but what we mean is before Eirik has his vacation, I guess. So that's
because I was going to say, like, it's before summer now, right?
As long as we keep pushing Eirik's vacation, we have time.
I think I saw him in the chat too. I think he should be at his desk working, right? Doing offline. He's probably is.
And then hopefully after summer, it's giving everyone a GA. We don't want to give a date because we did that on mobile and then we had to rebuild everything. So I let's try not to operate with dates, but it's top priority for us. You should be able to access your nodes from everywhere and work on them from everywhere. And as a person that flying a lot between California and Norway, it's such a hassle when you get on a plane that says, "Oh, we don't have Wi-Fi." So this is super important, and I think it's going to be really, really great. And there's a lot of work being done in other projects there as well that offline will benefit from.
Okay, so just signaling again that it's a big priority. We acutely feel this problem. We've really committed resources to it. Eirik has been working like a maniac and doing some great stuff, and it's getting closer. So internal testing, what did you say, before summer, which is now, then also like test pilots before summer, which is also
Australian summer. That's a good one. We should start using that. That's like time. You thought not the European one. Sorry. Australian summer.
That's great. Okay, perfect. So and then obviously August onwards we start to look for wide release. Okay, next one was mobile. There's some stuff that's happening on mobile.
Yes. So we had our first mobile version come out, and then we had editing mode, which I think is super good. But we need to get to a place where it's easier to have that on by default. And there's a lot of ideas like how do we take the next step on mobile, especially with the things we're doing with the VB project. I guess Oscar will show some of the VB stuff later. But what we've done is we've done a lot on improving both how, like, the attachments, like how you interact with PDFs, how you interact with images, which is super important because suddenly you're somewhere and you want to access a contract, or you want to access a picture, or you want to do whatever. It should be flawless on mobile. And Thomas and João has been working double time on this. They're incredible.
They've been wicked.
They've been wicked, and they've been working on reordering of nodes as well. And
Also speed, I think.
Yeah, and speed. Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like I kind of cut you off there, but yeah, just wanted to say it's really nice there, like the iteration tempo.
I'm reading so you can see that I'm new to this because I'm reading the chat and I want to answer every question instead of like presenting anything. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for August back.
Don't say that too loud. It's got should we actually answer some of these, or
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. This one comes from Gerwin. Actually, it's non specific or feature question, but why is there now office in America as a European company?
Yes, I can answer that. So I live in Palo Alto, which is let's say dependent on the day, 40 minutes south of San Francisco. And Aurora lives in Sausalito. I'm hoping I said that right, which is just across the bridge. And there's a lot of great talent in SF, and we're starting to hire there. And I am kind of old school. Probably, I want people in office 3 days a week or X amount of days a week, just because I think that it's so important when we try to solve hard challenges that we work together. I also love people having like their home offices because that's when you can have like calm and deep work and whatever. So we opened an office in Market Street in SF. I guess it's 4 weeks ago now, where Anjali, which heads up everything data science with us, a product data, and me and Aurora sits basically. So yeah, that's been super good. It's something about having a clubhouse, right? You should have a clubhouse.
Yeah. There's one down here in Australia too. Me and Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Somewhere. All right.
And cool. Why only 2 people on mobile? Like remember, mobile builds on top of the backend, whatever. So when I say Thomas and Zhao, it's basically the main, and Alex. Sorry, Alex.
Yeah.
It's basically the main people working on the mobile front end on Android and iOS. Yeah.
Great. Hi, Param too. Great to see him in here in the chat. And
Odin just answered. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Fantastic. Okay, let's keep going. Right. So we've also got a few. We're trying to do a few things on import.
Yes.
I wanted to put this thing up. Yes. Did you see this? This was from Miko in the Slack.
I wanted
to throw this out. Give me some context on this.
Yes, please reach out to Miko if you have any ideas or things you want on the import side. Like Miko is building a log-seek importer, which is, I guess, our first like really. We have Rome as well, yeah. But it's an importer that will do log-seek imports, and then we need to look at what other platforms do you as a user want to have imports from. We do think that the next step for Tana is closely tied to imports, integrations. I saw somebody mention like API and MCP.
Yes.
So this is kind of like, so import is one of them. And I think we're getting to some of the building blocks we're doing later. So. Yeah. But for import, if you have any wishes on the log-seek import, please reach out to Miko. If you have any other imports you want, reach out to him as well and just say that I would love that X was next. We do believe we know what should be next, but we really want our users to decide.
Yeah. So, yeah. The asset support was actually a big request for a long time, so really awesome to see him addressing that or looking to. So yeah, feel free. That's in the community Slack. I'll make sure it's prominent, reposted next week as well. Let's move on. We've obviously got a few people waiting to come in and talk to us, but I wanted to mention a few of the builder tools that you guys the whole team are really working on.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I've got time to go through all these, or maybe I shouldn't put these up.
I think you could probably not share that because it's so what we're doing is we're trying to create the building blocks needed to make both agents and work with AI in a different way within Tana. And what I can say is that some of the building blocks we're trying to get done is basically command execution triggers, tool calling, and the stuff that our builders need to just build awesome, insane stuff. Yeah. I was not aware that we would show that screenshot this meeting. But no. It's all good. I just wanna it's given, right? When you are a knowledge management platform that you need to get to this point. But I don't want to give any dates, but we have a team working on what we would call a capture pipeline.
Yeah. Okay. And maybe get them to come in next time when it's a bit closer or ready to go. All right. Well, let's leave it there. And it might be time to bring in Askia, who can talk through some of his projects and leading the design. So I might just bring him in now, and let's go from there. Hey, Askia.
I love that. Once Brage is out, there's no more redacted. You just show it all.
Yes. Like, what happened? Yeah.
Brage's been redacted. I think that's the conclusion, right?
Very
cool. All right, Askia, over to you. I know you've been working on some awesome stuff and some new directions or advances that have been really on your mind for a while. So perhaps it's best to just hand over to you, and we can ask questions, or feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we'll put them up as we go.
Yeah. So this is essentially a continuation of last time when we demoed the stuff that we internally have called brilliant basics, or stop oversharing, Doug says in the chat. Our intention to go back and try to isolate the things that make Tana, the really core building blocks, and do them well. Like, a lot of it has functioned quite well, but you've needed to know which hoops to jump through in which order to succeed in Tana. So that's been our focus in the product team for the last few months. Of course, it's a continuous focus, but we've now invested heavily in the new user experience and increasing the chances for people to succeed in Tana in order to make Tana ready for a mainstream audience. We're not there yet, and we acknowledge that. So yeah, that's been the focus. I want to show a few things. I do recall demoing some stuff last time, very unprepared. I'll do that this time as well. This time I'm demoing not from a throwaway exploration or like a parallel universe. I'm demoing from the production app. This is the Tana that I am using internally, and soon will be the one that everyone else is using as well. I'll focus on a few new building blocks, the ones that combined enable quite a radically different user experience within Tana. So the first is some work on navigation patterns and how you get around your content, basically, made possible by some new views. I saw a comment that flew past here by Glenn Burns. What about tiles? Yes. I have something for Glenn. Also, entities, essentially being able to identify, like we've been talking about how powerful it is that everything is a node in Tana. And it's really powerful, but it's also very hard for us to do things like search, because we don't always know what you think of as a page or as a container when everything's just a node in this massive graph. So we've been working on introducing a clearer distinction here between essentially what you would call pages or documents in other tools, without compromising on what is powerful and interesting about Tana. I'll zoom a bit for Glenn. And then, finally, dimension fields. Name to be decided, but the basic idea here is to know, for the tool to know the difference between the various fields that make up your structures in order to enable more sensible defaults. So I'll just show you what this looks like in my setup here. I got to zoom back out a little bit, unfortunately. So you might already have noticed that I don't have the ribbon sidebar, the mini bar thing. Instead, I can toggle my sidebar on and off, or I can pop it out to access the same content. This is a thing we're exploring that I hope will become obvious when I show you these other things. Where, let me look at, let me do projects first, maybe. Actually, I'll do meetings. It's less visually overwhelming. So the thing you're seeing to the left here is a navigation view sidebar. So this is a new view made available. It kind of resembles the old side menu view, but it behaves much more like what you're used to, in that its scroll position persists. You can zoom in and out of content within it. It will persist. It's essentially Apple Notes or Mail or Gmail or any other tool that you've used. This has been a missing piece in Tana for a long time, and it hasn't been obvious how to get this convention into Tana, but we believe we have a good solution now. And the solution is one new view and the concept of linked panels. So we're handling a lot of this behind the scenes, but the end result is that these two panels are now in sync, and whatever is selected to the left is opened to the right. I can do projects in the same way. I have a few variants here as well. I can do grid, which might be appropriate for some types of information, where you can navigate like this. It's the exact same pattern, just a different presentation of it. And then, please, Glenn, before I forget, if I go to all media here, what about it actually appeared here? What I have here is simply a search for, I think it's, all images from the last 300 days, just to limit it. So this is a visual tiles view that lets me cycle through images or videos or other types of media here. This view is also very likely coming soon. We don't know the timeline of the various things that I'm showing you. All of this will end up in your Tanas at some point as new building blocks. You won't notice much changing because all of this is opt-in. Like if your view, like if your list of images is using the table view, we're not going to change that. So you have to go and opt into some of these tools. They're just new building blocks. The reason we're working hard on these things is that by combining all of this for new users, we can create a radically new experience for them. So it really feels like we're catering both for new users and existing users quite well here. If there are any questions, Matt, from the chat, just let me know.
Yeah, sure. A lot of good feedback coming in. Glenn, I think he said thanks. I'm not sure if that's the same reference or it might have been for the Zoom in, but let's take it. That's a win.
And then there are a few other bits and pieces here as well. Stian is going to come in and talk a bit more about references and related content and what we're doing with that. And Hilde is coming to talk a bit more about node sharing. But I think I might just leave it here and say that these things are coming. Some of it is already in testing externally with about 100 external users. As soon as we know we don't have any breaking issues here, we will roll it out to everyone. I think I'll end it there for now.
Excellent, Askia. So some big changes, but there's some certainly some cool stuff coming in, some big kind of design philosophy really driving some of this, which is awesome to see as well. Yeah.
So a few questions. Do you want to take those or?
Yeah. Will this improve images in cards? Param asks.
Good question. Most likely this will replace cards. You will want to use this new view instead of the old cards view. We will continue to have a Kanban solution in Tana. We don't know exactly what this will look like. The cards view will not change anytime soon, but chances are you would want to just switch to the new gallery view or tiles view or whatever we end up calling it.
Great. Next one was Oh, sorry, Asker, please, you go.
Yeah, I just saw the other question about the clock icon in the top. So that's a recent view. It's a recent activity. I want to demo that at some point. I think I'll skip it today. But essentially, it's a chronological list, a sort of a clever search expression that will just return the stuff you've touched in a chronological order. Quite a trivial and sort of fundamental feature in a lot of tools. But in Tana, we're trying to build it in a modular sort of Tana way, which often make things a little bit harder.
A question here, I might just ask this one from D. How does one opt in? I guess this gets to the deeper kind of challenge you have of we've got a big installed user base that are familiar with existing patterns, and you're also giving new ideas. So how are you managing that as a process?
So we're planning on doing the same thing that we did for tabs, where we make it available, at least most of these individual features. We will make them available as Tana Labs features, default off, so that you can opt in. And then once we are confident enough that we don't have any reason not to make it available for everyone, we do. So yeah, there's no active opt-in, steps needed to opt in. Just keep an eye on the announcement channel, and we will notify you when it's available.
Yeah, excellent. And there's a few questions, Jens Christian, about entities and dimension fields. Are you going to talk about them at all?
Yeah, actually, they were kind of visible in what I showed. So the dimension fields tell us which fields are the ones you are most likely to sort by or group by or filter by, and which ones aren't. So they are basically just another signal for the tool to give great defaults. And this gets quite technical, and a lot of this will be hidden under the hood and won't be something that users will think about. But the end result that you will see is that you bring up a list of books, for example. You ask the system for a list of books, and it'll know that the author is something to display back to you as important. And it will know that the status and the priority, for example, on tasks are things you want to filter by or sort by. So yeah, it's just additional signals in the system, basically.
Excellent. And related to entities, there was a little bit of I guess actually it was tiles and images and documents. So I think, let me just see it. Lewis was asking this. I think a more general question. Amazing to have something for documents similar to tiles and images. I guess asset handling and that kind of stuff on the radar as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you upload known document formats like, I don't know, PDF or various other formats to Tana, clearly those should display nicely in a tiles view like this.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. Sorry, Asker, just one final one. What about mobile? Are these exclusive to desktop at the moment, or what's the rollout plan?
Yeah, not at all. These translate really nicely to mobile. So the whole idea of linking panels translates very well to mobile, where each column essentially becomes a mobile screen, and tapping any element goes one level deeper. So it'll work out of the box on mobile. All of this, what I've showed.
Okay, fantastic. Well, it's been amazing to see you pursue some big ideas and really push them through, and it's kind of starting to come to reality. So excited to see it happen, as well as I might ask you back next time, Asker, as this develops as well.
Sure.
Also, I know you've got a 5th birthday to go to, so I appreciate you coming in. There's always something that's happening on these months for you. But you always make time for us, so that's really appreciated. So thanks for coming in, Asker, and I think we should switch over to Stian now. So thank you. All right, Stian.
Kalimera Solus Keoles.
Of course. I can say
again from very hot Greece in Athens, hacking away at Tana.
Amazing. The idea of Stian in Greece is just perfect, isn't it? Hacking on Tana in Greece. So yes, explain, you're on summer holidays over there. You've gone for a bit of a vacation to explore the Acropolis and so forth.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been studying Greek for 3 years, but just reading and listening to stuff. And yesterday I ordered pizza in Greek, and the woman I talked to had no idea that that was the first time in my life that I've ever spoken Greek to another human being. Like, you just thought I was some foreigner who knew a little bit of Greek, but for me that was like a pretty big milestone. So, and it was
That's amazing. Yes, the idea of you like tears streaming down your face ordering a pizza in Greek is quite the image. So awesome. So all right, thanks as well for making time while you're on a bit of a voyage. So you're going to talk to us about a new idea, or one that's been an idea that we've pursued for a while and been in the team for a while, called Graphlands. So I might just hand it over to you to give us some background and overview of what that is.
Yeah. So as you know, in Tana, Tana is both a tree where we can structure things hierarchically, and it's a knowledge graph, and we can link things together with inline links, but also using fields with more, we could call those qualified links, because we're kind of saying, what kind of a link is this? So if I give you an example here, I'm sorry about these warnings, this is just a local development version. Here's an investor with a bunch of data, and then we see here the reference section that you've all seen before, that highlights some of the inline references. And then currently we group by field type. So we say that person, or this investor, is appearing in the field investor in this node, as in the field company in these nodes, and so on. And this is already something hopefully quite useful to a lot of people. But there's obviously many other ways of structuring this information, both the information that is already here, but also information that isn't even here, that we could extract from this knowledge graph. And one of the things we did was introduce related content, and some of the power users are then able to create custom searches for different tags, and that highlights and lifts up kind of exactly the information that's relevant to them. And we also have some great templates that feature that. The problem is that what we want to do is make Tana intuitive for brand new users, and we want to kind of teach them about the value of a knowledge graph. So we've been looking at what can we do about the existing reference section, the related section, and how much can we try to give users kind of out of the box of both a better organized view of what we're doing right now, and maybe stuff that we're not showing at all right now, but that we could show. So this is not at all done yet. We're hoping to release a version to test pilots very soon, but we're still iterating over a lot of this stuff, and we'll want people's feedback. But you did actually see a preview of this during Asgeir's demo, even though you might not have noticed it. So right now we have, we're calling it Graphlands internally, because the idea is it's not just nodes that link directly to this node. It's more, what would it look like if we used this node as a lens through which to look at your graph? And it's basically, so if I had related content, it would appear on top here. We're not deprecating related content, but we're hoping that in most cases you'll need a lot less of it, or not at all. So some of the things we do here, you'll see we have an investor type here, Series A. And then we say, well, wouldn't it be useful to see other nodes with the same investor type? And we use some heuristics here, where obviously if it's like 1,000 results, we'll only show the last 5 and so on. And this is responsive. So if I change the investor type, this immediately changes. And the hope here is, let's say you do a create new, and you insert a project, and you set the related project, and immediately you start seeing connections in the sidebar. We're hoping that will really help new users kind of understand the value of having a knowledge graph. So we see here, same investor type, same Series A status. And this is the old reference section. So these are nodes that directly link in. But we're now by default grouping it by tag instead of by field. And it feels like when we've been testing this, that seems to give be more useful. We're looking into possibly having a secondary grouping by field if there are multiple fields that entail the same tag. You can turn that off here, the grouping. Here you see one thing. So Asgeir was talking briefly about entities. And entities is a concept that's going to be introduced gradually across the product. And it's hopefully not something that most of you will have to really think much about, or it should just feel very natural. But the idea is, in a document, if I'm writing, today I met with this investor, that I would call content. It's obviously a node. I can do anything I want with this node. I can tag it, I can add fields, I can move it around, I can link to it. But right now, the way it is, it's content. And it's content that belongs to this obvious node, right? And so if I find a link here, like if I make an inline reference to something, then really this is kind of the interesting document. So what we're doing now is we're showing the entity, and we're showing the node that where the link is inline here. And if there are multiple nodes, we'll group them. And we're also looking into, if you click here to open, maybe we'll actually not zoom in, because what we do today often is you end up with this kind of view, which is not very helpful. Instead, we might zoom into this node, but then actually scroll down and highlight the node that you were searching for. So that's something we're experimenting with, and there's going to be a bunch of other places in the product as well where this distinction is gradually going to be introduced. You also have a quick filter here, which also works on, I guess there's no bugs here. I'm so used to working on Tana data. It also works on tags, so I can easily filter down on that. Or I can also say I only want to show nodes with the same type, or I only want to show nodes by another of the types available. We can also filter out done items, which is often useful for us when we're dealing with feedback on features and stuff like that. And then we have another thing. So, in this case, this is example data that is highly structured. Like, it has a lot of fields, it's linked up very nicely. But what if you don't have data that's that structured? So this is a workspace that I actually imported from a previous system I was using. And so it doesn't have any tags. It doesn't have the kind of structure that Tana uses. And so usually the reference section is not very helpful, but there's a lot of great stuff here. And so if I, for example, made a note on today's node and I said, today I'm going to watch a Greek drama in Athens, and I click on it, usually I would have gotten no references. But now we have something that we try to do a semantic search. And there's a bunch of different ways of, that's very slow today. There's a bunch of different ways of doing this. And the current way of doing it is a little bit of a hack, but it's, yeah. You see here, we got a bunch of stuff that is at least somewhat, here's something about drama, here's something about ancient Greek and Athens. And what's interesting about this is it's often finding nodes that doesn't even use any of the same words. So we're now trying out the method that's quite simplistic, but still gives surprisingly good results. But we also have done a bunch of work on the platform to enable us to test some more sophisticated methods of kind of surfacing stuff from your graph. In a way, this is almost like a 100 times better version of the unlinked references that we have today, because the unlinked references today, they only look at exact word match. Yeah, and I'm sure there are other things that we'll discover as we go along, but the goal is really to give you, to surface from the graph the things that are useful to you quickly and cleanly, easy to work with, easy to hide, and hopefully, yeah, making it both easier to work with your data and giving people an intuition for the value of working with your data. Any questions before I close this?
Awesome, Stian. Yeah. Well, there wasn't many questions. It was mainly just people like losing their mind in the chat, which was nice to see. One question, is this related to the field dimensions thing? So I think Nick's asking that. So how does dimension fields relate to this as well?
We'll see. Field dimensions are one way of signaling that certain fields are more important in a way. Whether it actually makes sense to take that data into account in the graph lens or not, I think we'll have to kind of see how people use it. But it's quite possible.
Excellent. That was today's one more thing. Param said yes. And what about embeddings? Jens Christian said that sounds like embeddings. Do you want to give some context on that?
Yeah, there's a few different ways of doing this. So for the geeks out there, the way we're doing it right now, which was a brilliant idea by Seb, is that we're actually asking Gemini, which has a very cheap LLM, to generate keywords, and then we do a fuzzy text search against the database on those keywords, and that's what I described as kind of a hack that works surprisingly well. There's two things that we can do to improve that. First of all, currently our text search index is based on nodes, and so if you have content that's spread across multiple nodes, which is very common, then you won't necessarily find it. And so what we're experimenting with now is to index entire entities, going back to this word, right? So if you're saying, I'm doing a travel plan for San Francisco, and then you take nodes on a bunch of nodes underneath there to actually index that as a single document so that you could find things across different nodes. And then once you have done that, then the natural next step is to run embeddings against that and see if that gives you even better results. And we're experimenting with all of those, as well as different ways of ranking and sorting and filtering and stuff like that.
Awesome. I thought I'd bring back OLAV 2, obviously the knowledge graph. Am I sick of hearing you talk about the knowledge graph? No, I'm never sick of it. But what do you think about this?
So I think what's important to understand is that this is something that we've been working on for a long time. Like when we started out, the reference section, it's super important. It's one of our most important features. It's what shows the power of the knowledge graph, right? The challenge for every system or platform that has a reference section is as the data grows, the reference section is harder to manage, right? And I do think that Stian and the team has solved this in an incredible way with GraphLens. And you need to it's probably not easy to see it when you see it for the first time, but the new skill in AI isn't prompt engineering, right? It's context engineering. It's giving the AI the right context. And we say that the knowledge graph is built for AI. We started out with that back in 2020 before we started the company, when we worked on a prototype. And this is just the next step in that. And I don't want to dive too deep into that, but I do think that our users that are supporting us and waiting and looking into what we're doing in future should try to understand that when we do the GraphLens right, we're not just killing like files and folders like we've been talking about. We're actually killing search. Like you shouldn't have to go into a project and start searching for the right information, right? So while the puck is probably search kills files and folders, what we should work on is let context kill search, right? Because that's how our brain works. So now this is huge, and context is king. Yes, context is king. Yes, and context is king for AI. And with the knowledge graph, basically the graph lens and super tags. Yeah, I can't wait to show you more on what we're working on the back end. But yeah, it's super good. And thanks for the great presentations, Dion. It was really, really good.
It was awesome, as well as obviously the deep ideas that have gone into this for a long, long time. So really excited to see them get close to the surface. And also that you've flown to Greece and you've decided to come and spend some time with us in here when you could be out there.
Yeah.
All the things that you would do. So yeah, enjoy Greece. Hope you have a great time. Looking forward to seeing the post on Twitter, and thanks for coming in. Cool. All right, it's great. All right. we're kind of getting close to time, but we've got more to come. So Hilda has been waiting patiently. I'll bring her in.
Oh no, yeah, Hilda, come on. You can. I can jump again, so Hilda gets more screen to stay.
All right. Yeah, no, that's fine. Let's do that. Okay, thanks for that. I'll come back later. Hey Hilda, thanks for being patient there. I know I kind of I said come in a bit earlier. It's run a bit over, so I appreciate it. You've been doing some cool stuff too, so I might hand it over to you to talk about some of the things that you have been doing with Alex.
Nice. And I'll keep it brief, but super excited to share something that I hope all of you want to share as well. And I've cheated a little bit because my internet is a bit shaky, so apologies. Let's hope it holds. But Alex has made a lot of amazing progress on what we call Publish 2.0, or what you see is what you share. So basically, as you all are familiar with, we've had the old publish option where you could publish and share something kind of like an article. Now, with the new release, test pilots, ambassadors, and navigators will get a new version, which you see to the right here, which has something we call Tana view and article, which is the old publish. And basically, it's kind of as the name says, like you can share things with the Tana formatting. So you can keep the outliner format, you can zoom. We'll have the breadcrumbs there. It'll show tags, fields, and basically you will be able to share almost exactly what you see in your Tana with others, but designed and built for a read-only experience. There's still a lot of corner cases, but we've started to weed out some of them. So like if you see here, you cannot zoom into or expand empty nodes, which makes no sense in a read-only experience. We do try to constrain your graph a little bit. So what you will be sharing is all the children below this that live there. Anything that references outside, you will see it, but you won't be able to drill down through it. So let's find a decent example of that. Yeah, so for example here, you will see the title of unavailable nodes, but the person who receives it will not actually be able to drill down or get more content in it. Same goes for super tags. So just to reduce some of the corner cases with editing, you can't click and go to the home page for super tags just yet. So these are some of the known limitations, but other than that, you can kind of get a feel of sharing what you have in your Tana. You can copy the link, open on web, publish changes, unpublish like usual. And as some of you may know, there's a limit to how many nodes you can publish with the original publishing format. This is greatly expanded with this Tana view. So you should be able to share larger nodes than you've been able to do before. And I will just show some other screens. And just to check, safety check. Matt, can you see my URL on the top?
No, I cannot. I can just see, yep.
Okay, so I don't want anyone to like be able to get our office and login info. Yeah, so this is what it would look like online or on the web. We will be experimenting with improving UI even further, and I'll see if I can find a search node somewhere. Yeah, so for these, Alex, hopefully he will be able to get in a feature before he leaves for summer vacation where you can actively add nodes back that you want to share, even though they don't naturally live under that top node that you've been sharing. So we hope this will be useful and an interesting way to use your content more outside of Tana as well. And with that, I think I will leave it up to you guys to pepper me with questions if you have any.
Okay, awesome. Yes, some just great comments coming in. Obviously excited to see. Maybe a question, how do you think this relates to, or the role will be for existing publish or Tana publish? How does it interrelate there?
Okay, our goal is that we eventually can deprecate the existing publish and that you would have those formatting tools as a natural part of your Tana as well. So both for read or both when you're working in Tana and when you're showing it externally. So this, you'll have to ask Aska more about this, but it does mean that we probably want some more document type views without bullets that you can be able to share from your Tana. But we really want to aim towards Tana being the main format and not creating separate versions of it. So this is the first big step towards that. And anytime it's like, oh, we can't share it because we're missing this view, that is super valuable feedback to us in terms of which view options should we actually support in Tana as well.
Yeah. And there's been some edge cases you've been exploring so far or kind of addressed. What's that been like, and what's the process from here in terms of release?
Okay, so there's a release happening now where this feature flag will be it will be available for test pilots, ambassadors, navigators, etc. There are probably going to be some bugs in what the fucks, but with this release, the URLs won't break in the future, so you can actually start testing and sharing things without us having to roll it back. We want to get the pull-in nodes that are referenced because we think that will be one of the biggest what the fucks or the biggest blockers to value with this, because it's not always intuitive what is shared and what isn't, especially for search nodes. So once he gets that in place, fingers crossed, by end of this week, we can see if we want to roll it out further or not.
Yes, Nick said by summer, which is becoming the standard reference. Yes, Australian summer. Yes, exactly. But this one feels like it's pretty close, right? It's been in testing already. Alex, and you've been working on this for a while, and it feels like there's no unknowns with this one, just some polish. And I mean, I'm sure there is unknowns, but not big ones, right?
I would say there are some unknowns and there are some big knowns, which we eventually will address in the future. We've gotten some comments previously that we want to move more towards share versus publish so that you could actually collaborate or edit. That is further down the line.
Yeah,
it is not trivial to get that in place. So first version, we're just really aiming for a smooth share experience for read-only people. And also worth noting, like, this is still going to be async. So if you make changes in your Tana, you are going to have to republish to update that on the external published link. And the question, is there any thought being able to publish a specific URL as a personal website? We have that on our wish list. We don't know when we can prioritize that, but it does seem like a natural extension. Same with, say, password protection and a lot of these things that like make it even more powerful and useful to share. Yeah. So on our wish list, I think we have to make sure that the basics work really well first.
Yeah, I agree. Jack, we also have that one a lot for publish. So yeah, well-known request, and would love to see it implemented for this. Yeah, so awesome, Hilda. This feels like it's going to be.
I think Alex can be bribed for these kind of things, by the way.
Yeah. He's where is he now? He's still at the office or still working away.
He's still at the office.
Yeah. Okay, so feel free to head to Oslo and knock on the door, and he'll be the person to answer. Cool. Thank you, Hilda. That was a great overview. Anything else you want from users in terms of feedback or anything like that? When it comes out, I guess you'll signal that as well.
I think anything that would make it more useful to share. So if there's like, I would love to share it for this context, but I'm missing these features, or we need a different visual, or somehow we need to edit what we're sharing, that would be super useful. Same if there's any unexpected behavior in terms of what is included and what is not included.
Yeah.
Love those view options. Yeah. I think that form format and formatted as PDF would be great add-ons. I do not know the scope or how much that would require, so we'd have to look into that after Norwegian summer this year.
Okay, yes, getting even more specific, that's shows it's on its way. So fantastic, Hilda. Thank you very much for the overview, and excited to see this one out. It's a big one, and obviously the next iteration of Publish, which is a well-loved feature. So this is going to be exciting. And I'll have you back, if that's okay, later when we actually go to release and talk through what happens. Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks. All right.
All right. What an office hour. Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
When you see all the building blocks, you can see everything that's coming up.
Yeah.
I just hope that our community, our users see the direction we're headed in, which is making Tana easier to use, getting full power of the knowledge graph, and setting us up to own the knowledge management AI field.
Yeah. Is there really a summer in Norway, DRs? I can see you. I can see you looking out the window, and
I'm so surprised. There's sun.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a great day in Norway. Looks good though.
Pretty impressive, yeah.
Yeah,
That is nice.
So there's the fjord. There's the fjord. It's called the Ørsta It's nicer than the Volda Fjord where it is.
Yeah, better than the Adelaide Fjord where I live. All right, just before we finish, I want to quickly just give a shout out to some of the stuff in the community. There's been some cool stuff as always, and I sat down with Mark Midlick, who joined us and has been awesome and really been owning the Slack and doing some cool stuff in there. And one of my highlights of the week is we get to sit down and talk through all the cool stuff that happened in the community. So it's been awesome, and just want to give a quick shout out to a few people. This one from Aaron talked about having a separate workspace for Tana experiments, which was nice and a cool idea to run. Penny's been continuing an ADHD community with Matt and others, continue to meet up. So really cool to see, and they're kind of deep diving on things and issues and areas that Tana help with. Andrew has got a new concept called Spike, Signals, Pattern, Insight, Know-how, and Enablers. So kind of the idea explorer, and that's kind of been represented in how successful and well-loved his courses have been. He's done a lot of stuff on agents with Fizz and Aaron, but also he's continuing to advance his other course, which is Advanced Knowledge Systems. So really cool to see there. Ev back on the YouTube train and doing some really cool videos, really simple overviews of Tana, cool tips, and they're really powerful. I love seeing these. They often come out on my Monday morning, which is a cool way to start the week. So did a few ones, talked about this one, which was a little tip to give yourself a clean slate for your day note if you've got a lot of commands in there. So really easy way to get some good context. This one's a bit extreme. Have you ever taken Tana to do your shopping with at the shops? I guess, have I? I've done that actually. Did that a few weeks ago where I put together a list of things I need to pick up at the shops, but I'm not doing all my, perhaps I don't do enough gourmet cooking. I keep it simple, but yeah, very cool to see Ev doing some.
You're not the one shopping, Matt, to be honest.
I am.
No, you're trying to, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I'm not a 5-star chef, but yeah, I do some of the shopping. All right, we get it delivered. Fine, you've got me.
Tanya is like, well, what is he talking about?
Maybe. Yes. Tanya is a good cook and very organized too. Other stuff. This didn't come out as well, but Simon has just released this idea called Focus Stream. So check out his YouTube. I think he put the community announcement here. Yes, just chucked it in. It's a really cool system. It gives you a lot of cool stuff. And Simon is a designer and also an information designer, I like to think of him as. And the combination of both a visual designer and information designer really leads to some powerful stuff. So he's been working super well with, or doing some cool stuff with Nick too, who's got another template coming out called GigaBrain, which is very complete and very powerful. So the two of them becoming a bit of a combo, as well as doing some really awesome stuff. Andre doing some CSS stuff as always. Shout out to Reddy and the stuff that he's doing with Raycast. Just wanted to highlight that. There was also this thing that showed up on Reddit the other day. I don't know if you saw this, Olav. There was a web clipper, ton of web clipper.
Yeah, I did.
Did you? Yeah. So interesting. I'm not sure who that was, but it was kind of cool to see that someone was trying to do a web clipper. Awesome work to whoever that was. It was really awesome to see. And yeah, we'll have some more tools for that later on as well. So yeah, some cool stuff in the community. I want to give a big shout out to Darren, particularly, who's been awesome in the community as always, as well as obviously everyone, but particularly Mark. Milik, who's been in there and doing some cool stuff and starting to do some videos, which we've been talking about a lot, where he'll shout out to particular users and do some things. So yeah, that's it from us. I did want to finish though on a few things, but in terms of what happens from here, yeah, what happens, OLAV? So we've got a bit of a plan that's different. We've been doing the shape up process, and we're suspending our next shape up cycle until what is it, 1st of September. Normally we go. Yeah.
Probably. We want to try to get most of what you see today.
Yeah.
And please don't hold me to this because things change like every day. But we really want to try to get this launched like end of August. So basically, what we're doing is just getting everything in a great shape, getting it out for testing, and then get it out to everyone. So that's hopefully end of August-ish. It's kind of a back to school launch, I guess.
Yeah.
After that, we're going to start the next focus period. And in the summer, we will have our regular Summer of Bugs.
Summer of Bugs. Okay.
Yeah.
What does that sounds? Give some insight. What does that mean?
So Summer Bugs is basically what we've been doing the last couple of summers, which is when we try to really hone in on the bugs that's been reported from the community, what we're seeing coming into Intercom, and because when you do the focus periods, you're not always doubling down on bugs, and there are some crazy bugs which are corner bugs, and there are some obvious bugs which we need to do. And we have also, of course, the WTFs, which is just, it feels like a bug, but it's actually intended to work that way, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So we need to change it up. So yeah, it's that's what we're doing for the summer. And Norwegian holidays, I guess, is just about to start, but the team is kind of spread. So there will be people in the community, and we will be answering in Intercom, but we will be fewer people. Like one of our main values is when you have time off, you should be off.
Yeah.
Like the team is working super hard through the year. When we have our holidays, especially our summer holidays, spend time with your family and try to get your head out. What happens often is that's when the insane solutions and the innovative stuff comes. But
that's right. That's good. So yes, today there's some people who are on holidays already, but we are rotating through. It's not like we're all going to be disappearing, and a lot of people are working through the July. The fact that we're also global as well. I did think I'd try and find a way to give people an insight into what's going on in the team. I'm not sure if this is working. Is it? Can I get this to work? Yes. Okay, let's watch this and see. There's an update from the team on what they're doing with the summer holidays. Hopefully this sound will work. Can you hear that? Sorry?
No.
Nope. Okay. One sec. I'm going to try and do this because it's too good not to try. Yes. Okay, here we go. Let me try and do this.
Hey, Tanarians.
Yes.
I'm planting tomatoes.
All right, I'm going to start this again. This is the team who have just quickly given me an update on what they've been up to or what they're planning to be up to over July.
Hey, Tanarians. I'm planting tomatoes.
So I am hard at work on offline mode, sitting inside, looking at the nice weather outside.
Hello, Tanarians. I'm in the Norwegian Bahamas.
Hola de España.
Greetings from Sydney, where it's cold and wet, but we're still working even though Europeans are enjoying their lovely summer.
Hi everyone, this is João. I'm in Portugal, not on holidays right now, but since the weather is fantastic, I've been doing some outdoor activities in the end of the day. Before going on holidays, you should expect a few more fixes on the mobile apps. And thanks for all the reports and the support you've been giving to us. And enjoy summer with Tana.
I'm Knut Eirik, and I'm still working from the Oslo office.
Hello, Tanarians. I'm still working at the Stavanger office, which is only me. But I sometimes take time for a little break.
Is he gonna do it?
All right, awesome. It's so good. Thanks to everyone for. Oops. All right, let's hold on. Try and get you back. Where's the main scene? All right, yes, got you back.
Dog is the only guy I know that gets younger while spending times with his kids.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you baby.
I'll be like,
yeah. That was awesome from Uden. I love the squawking bird right at the end as well. So very cool. So yeah, there'll be people around in the community. Feel free to reach out to everyone, but also July is kind of the month where people rotate through the holidays. So we'll have another update. The next one will probably be with Braga when he's back. If not, it'll be one more with OLAV. We'll have to let you know how it goes, OLAV.
let's hope Braga is back. He's the talented one.
Yeah, no, it's been great. It'd be great. And I think that's about it. So thank you very much to everyone for joining. OLAV, thanks for coming in and thanks for the updates. And looking forward to seeing everyone in the community.
Have a great summer, everyone.
Okay, bye.